Welcome back to In the Shop, the podcast where we connect the dots between dealership success and the tools that power it. Today, we're diving into a topic that every dealer can relate to: saving time, saving money, and finding vendors you can actually trust. And I'm super excited because joining me today is someone who knows this world inside and out. Michelle McInerney, Dealer Success Manager at the Shop. She has a career that started at Ford Motor Company, a deep track record of helping dealers succeed. And Michelle's passion is connecting great dealers with great vendors. So in this conversation, we're going to talk about what the shop actually is, why FordDirect is behind it, how it's changing the way dealers discover and work with partners. Whether you're a general manager, a dealer principal, or anyone really juggling 100 priorities at once, this is the conversation you've been waiting for. Let's jump right into it. Welcome, by the way, Michelle. Welcome to In the Shop.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, of course. I want to start. It's usually always best to kind of start in the beginning to let the audience know kind of your story. Let's start with that. How did you first get into this crazy thing we call the automotive industry, that whole world, and what's kept you in it all these years?
Yeah, well, that's a great starting point, but it all started back in 1990 after I graduated from college from Michigan State. I started my career with Ford as a customer service person. And after about a year of working with customers over the phone, started as a zone manager on the fixed op side, which was quite an experience. Knew nothing about auto parts or maintenance or any of that. And then after a couple years of that, I switched over to the sales side and wholesaled cars to dealers. So I had a great introduction in the Detroit metro market, which was a great learning ground from some of the best dealers in the country, and was able to develop my career there. Then I stayed home with my kids for about 13 years, raised my children, and got back into the automotive after that, which was a huge change. Everything was very different. Cell phones, for an example, didn't have those in my field job the first time. But went back to work with a couple other OEMs, some smaller marketing companies for Kia and Chrysler. And then 10 years ago, I started a new job with FordDirect, and I've been with FordDirect for the last 10 years. I was most recently in the field again in Detroit, calling on dealers and working as a digital performance consultant. So I had a lot of experience with vendors and our core products that FordDirect offers. And the shop is a newer entity to FordDirect, and there was an opportunity to kind of utilize my background in a new position called the Dealer Success Manager, and that's where I've been for the last couple months. So I'm trying to pull in all of my experience and use it in continuation of trying to support dealers in the best way that I can.
Well, congratulations on that role.
Thanks.
And I so relate to your even timing in terms of like 1990. That's, I know we're not trying to put it out there exactly how people can calculate how old we are.
Yeah,
But
it's been a while.
But the fact that you mentioned some of these even technological changes that have happened in that time period, there's a lot that's happened from the time you got into this to what's
Yes.
happening today. But I love always this expression. You were kind of standing in the stream when the dam broke with all of this technology and all of this digital
Yes.
and all of this internet stuff. And it gives you a perspective and really a depth of experience that other people don't have. And I think those are great differentiators. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love that. And I think that your addition to the team in this capacity actually is really helpful for dealers because you know the steps that they walk. You understand what
Yes.
it's like in their trenches, and that's really critical. You mentioned this. You have worked with a lot of dealers, some incredible ones over the years.
Absolutely.
I would love it. I was like good stories. Any fun or memorable moments from those early
Oh,
days?
there's a lot. A lot of stories. I probably shouldn't say them on video. One does come to mind back in the day when I was, 21 years old, calling on dealers out on the west side of the state of Michigan. And I was, having to handle warranty claims. And sometimes I had to deny them. And the dealer at this particular store brought me some parts to look at. And, I had really no idea what I was looking at and whether or not I was going to approve the warranty claim or not. And lo and behold, I found out as there was lots of chuckles and snickering that I was looking at lawnmower parts. So they were pulling the wool over my eyes. But I will say that it was a great training ground. Um, the evolution, and yes, the technology is very different, but the core business is still very much the same. So I feel like not only have I tried to help dealers learn over the years, they've taught me everything. I've learned a ton from them.
I love that you have a story like that. Most people, especially if they don't have an automotive background or they didn't grow up wrenching on even a
Yeah,
lawnmower, let alone a car with their grandpa or their dad or their older brother or somebody,
right.
are susceptible to that. They tell you that go find the muffler bearings, or I need
Yeah.
a gallon of blinker fluid or things like that. So
Yeah.
those are always fun stories. Let's talk about the shop.
Yep.
I know that most of the people that are consuming content here in this format have been hearing a lot about it. You guys are putting a lot out into the marketplace so people understand it. But a lot of times you need to be repetitive in this messaging so that people really understand what is it exactly
Yeah.
and why should it be as important to dealers as really and for them to understand that.
Yes, definitely. I think right now it's a purpose of awareness. We need to make the dealers aware of that the shop even exists. The last year and a half of the curation of the shop has been really focused on getting the right vendors in place. But now we've got a lot of great vendors in place, and we have to make sure that they're getting in front of these dealers. So the shop is that it is a place for dealers to go that serves them up with solutions that have been curated by experts on our team. And the intent is to save time, save money, and to be a trusted source for dealers to go to find the right vendors. We've got a great business development team that's really experienced in putting vendors in place for situations like this. The shop is definitely very cutting edge. There's not a lot of competition that the shop has right now because this is a newer model. But I think that the small and mighty team that we have on the shop is really bringing forward great solutions. I'm learning about great partners every day. And while FordDirect has a great broad core product base, there's solutions in the shop that are not part of that FordDirect core base. I think what's important though is the dealers know what FordDirect is, the Ford and Lincoln stores. They know FordDirect. They generally have a very trusted relationship with their digital performance consultant. So I see this as an extension of that trusted partnership with additional vendors for different issues or concerns that the dealer's trying to fix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a fantastic team running the shop. We get to,
Yeah.
of course, interact with many, if not everyone involved,
Yes.
and there is definitely a very deliberate, concerted effort to get the dealers educated and help them understand the things that you just were talking about.
Mhm.
The time savings is huge. The
Yes.
obviously cost savings is huge. But the process of actually, kind of deciding, well, who should we be looking at? Like the
Mhm.
vetting process, to have
Yes.
somebody helping you in that endeavor is tremendously valuable for dealers.
Right. And we're getting dealer feedback in order to do that. If we want to know from the dealers, who are you using for a particular situation and who are you getting great service from? So we
Mhm.
really do value those vendors that come to us from dealers that are using them. If they're
Mhm.
that good, we'd love more dealers to know about them. So it's kind of a twofold thing. We're helping the dealer and we're helping the vendor and matching them up.
Yeah,
So
I
I
love
think it's a
that.
great value.
I 100% agree, and I think the first dealer that I met personally when Beth and Courtney were in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, this was in the early days of us starting to
Uh-huh.
make content, to let people know what's going on. We did that at a Lincoln store in Fort Worth, Kip Hooks,
Okay.
and he told the story, of using the shop to identify, I wanna say it was some sort of tech vendor that
Okay.
he
Yep.
really needed. And he was literally saying the names of people at this vendor of how great a job they had been doing for him.
Yeah,
And he said it was kind of what cemented, like, this is a thing, I'm going to be using it all the time, because it helped. I mean, his first attempt to find somebody that he would be happy with, it was a home
right.
run. Those are
Yes,
powerful testimonials because of the things that you're mentioning, like not just
yes.
awareness, but that they can trust it.
Right, and we're adding testimonials too. So dealers like to know what other dealers are doing and who they're using for certain things. So we're
Hmm.
trying to encompass that feedback onto the shop as well, so that a
Yeah.
dealer can go on there, look at a vendor, schedule a demo, and then see another dealer's testimonial or feedback on the usage of that vendor. So we're trying to make it a kind of a one-stop shop. We know dealers
Yeah.
are busy. We're trying to save them time, and I will say the main focus is dealer first mentality. We want to be giving the dealers the best service, the best vendors, and making it easy for them.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a hugely valuable resource for
Yeah.
dealers. No question about it. I want to talk to you a little bit about your this new role. So you've
Yep.
recently stepped into this new role, dealer success manager. I'm sure that has a ton of responsibility behind it. What's it look like day to day? How does it support dealers? Just give
Yeah.
us a little backstory on that.
I think it's kind of evolving because it's a new position, but I think it's twofold. I think there's a field team awareness and a dealer awareness. So I'm kind of breaking up those two categories. Uh, Again, I'm going to go back to that trusted partner with the FordDirect field team. The field team also needs to be educated about the shop and what the vendors are doing there. If we can connect the vendors to a field meeting, different parts of the country, I'm going to try to do that. That's actually being done. The second part is dealer awareness, meeting with dealers, talking to dealers. I've been in hundreds of dealer meetings where they have said, "What do you know about this?" Or, "Do you have a product that does this?" And my job in the past has been to be focused on those core products. And I didn't have the bandwidth on understanding the massive amounts of other products out in the world, in the field. So this is really giving me a great opportunity to learn about so many other technologies and services, and put these vendors in the forefront of the field's mind, and introducing them to the dealer that, yes, we have more than those core products. We have all of these great vendors in the shop, and we've done the hard work. We've vetted them. We've negotiated good pricing. So to me, it's really exciting because I'm kind of bringing together both worlds, letting the field know about all of this, letting the dealers know that we've got all these great vendors, and then helping the vendors present their wares to the dealers.
Hmm. Let's talk a little bit about that vendor element, like
Mhm.
how they are chosen to be a part of
Uh-huh.
the shop. What dealers really should know about that process.
Yeah, so I mentioned a little bit about it. There's several different ways that a vendor can get to us. One being a dealer recommends, but we have a whole business development team that's kind of looking at, not just the here and now, but what's coming 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. And they're doing their research. They're meeting with vendors. They're getting demos before they even get into our pipeline. But once they are in our pipeline, they go through a pretty stringent, I want to say maybe 7 or 8 step process that does take months. We require a lot of, referral information from them. We look at a lot of their data and compliancy requirements, and we really put them through a pretty stringent process of being accepted into the shop. So there's
Hmm.
no stones that are not overturned. We really do our homework, and we feel very good about the process we're putting these vendors through. They might not love it because it's a lot of work on their end too, but in the long run, it's serving for everybody's interest, and really picking out the cream of the crop for each category that we are putting in the shop.
Yeah, I think that is, like I said a couple minutes ago, that is such an important process. And I'm sure that when dealers finally realize that that's what's going on, I don't know that there could be any other response other than that is very helpful. It
Yeah.
can, because it's time consuming. You can make the wrong decision and you don't have anybody who's vetted. You don't have anybody that's kind of helped in this process. And
Yep.
then it's not always easy for them to back out and, start to pedal backwards on a decision that
Exactly.
they're maybe starting to regret. So
Right.
huge, huge value in that. In preparing for this conversation, You described the shop as kind of an Etsy for dealers. And I happen to live with someone who's a huge Etsy fan. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty familiar with it
Yeah.
myself. And I think lots of people are. But what do you mean by this is kind of an Etsy for dealers?
Well, I guess I don't use Etsy a lot, but I think of it as, it's a market center. You're going there to look for things. You want to see choice models. That's where the shop is, and that's where they're evolving even more. You can also see what people are saying about that, again, reviews, testimonials. So where we're a little more focused on dealer needs, again, dealer first situations and what they're needing in their everyday business. We're not as broad as an Etsy, but I feel like that's even better. We're really focused in on what the dealer needs.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I was referring to it. Is it's a shopping center, it's a landing place, and maybe we could refer it to it as a small Amazon,
Hmm.
which fulfills the same purpose. And we just hope to keep drawing attention to get dealers there so they know it exists and make it a first top of mind place to go when they are looking for a solution. Oh, I should check the
Yeah.
shop. It makes
Yeah.
it a lot quicker than going to everybody's Google page and searching through, all of that when it's already done for them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Etsy, Amazon, they're online marketplaces. The shop
Yep,
is just that. It's an online marketplace. And I love that
exactly.
you actually just, point out the fact that even Amazon and Etsy are so broad, right?
Yeah.
Like crazy. The
Yep.
shop is very, very curated, built, and deliberately constructed for
Yep.
a specific niche.
Yep.
And it's,
Designed
of course,
specifically for
the,
the
the one
dealers.
that dealers care about the most. Yeah.
Yep.
So love that.
Yeah, it's a good fit.
Beyond once you're in the marketplace, beyond just browsing for vendors,
Hmm.
what are other advantages that the shop offers? Especially, I think dealers love it when it has something to do with saving them time and or money.
Yep. Yeah, so it's functioning very well for that purpose. So we recently transformed everything over to a Shopify platform. So there's a shopping cart functionality there. There's a way for a dealer to schedule or book a demo through Calendly. For many of the vendors, there is a way to watch videos. It's kind of a resource library for the vendors that are on there. So hopefully if a dealer goes on to the shop.com and they are looking and shopping for a specific thing, they're going to be able to find it easily through our top navigation. And then it's up to them. They can add to their cart, they can do more research. And then, if they do decide to go along with one of our vendors, we make the process even easier for billing, where we can bill their part statement. It's all interconnected, which a lot of dealers like, but we can do it either way.
I love that so much of that focus is making everything available in the environment that they're in,
Yeah.
right? As
Yep.
opposed to
Very
having to
turnkey.
jump around to a lot of places. That in and of itself is a convenience that's going to be welcomed by any smart operator inside of a dealership.
Absolutely.
And I think that's huge. You
Yep.
mentioned also when we were preparing that there are a lot of services in the shop that can be billed to the parts department. Can you talk
Part
about that?
statement.
Why that matters
Yeah.
for these dealers?
Ford has Ford and FordDirect centralized billing. So it's not that a dealer has to write a check for every single thing that they're paying for in their multifaceted business. So it's all done on a part statement. We at FordDirect are connected to that part statement. That's how we bill all of our products on the core side of things. And we can offer that same functionality to the vendors in the shop. So it makes it
Mm,
easier. And when someone
uh-huh.
from FordDirect, one of the digital consultants, goes into the dealer, they provide a detailed monthly billing statement, and all of the shop vendors can be on that billing statement. So there's one place to go see what you're spending with FordDirect.
Mhm. I love that too. Okay, let me move to this. I imagine that you being a DPC meant that you were asked all the time about vendors, solutions that were even
Pretend.
outside of your main scope that you were talking
Yeah.
to the dealers and working with them on. How does the shop solve that challenge?
It actually solves it in a beautiful way because we have been very focused as DPCs on talking about and providing our core product services to our dealers. But again, we have a lot of discussions with our dealers and they want to know, well, have you heard about this? Or what about this? And so many times my answer is, I don't know about that, or I'm sorry, I don't have a solution for that. This is laying out a roadmap for so many other solutions. And part of the job as dealer success manager is to let all of the field know that, hey, when your conversations with dealers come up where they're asking for other solutions that the core products don't provide, hey, here's my suggestion for that. We have a vetted vendor that other dealers have used, and we put through our vetting process. And here's their name, here's their number, and here's how to get a demo. So we're not selling the product in the shop. We are providing information to the dealer and hopefully then providing a lead to that vendor.
Mm-hmm. I love all of the educational content around each vendor in the shop. I'm obviously a big fan of that in the line of work that I like to do, because I think that's how people like to take the journey when they're making purchases now, is they want actually to be able to go to a place, hopefully not a lot of places, one place, the shop, and get everything they need. If they're not quite ready to make that decision, I can set up a discovery call, a demo if I want, and still everything is in one place.
Correct.
Again, that level of convenience, dealers are so busy and they have people just inundating them with different things to distract them and slow down decisions and confuse them all the time. And so putting all of that in one place is really, really smart.
It is. And another part of what I'm doing there is if there is an issue or a question or a concern, my email's on there, my phone number's on there, my calendar's on there. So I kind of act as a middle ground if there are any questions or concerns that come up. So there's someone available at all times to be answering their questions.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the horizon for the shop. Anything that's exciting coming up that you want dealers to know about?
Actually, we are very excited because for 2026 NADA, we have our own booth. And, the shop's only about 2 years old. So yeah, this is big, exciting news for our team. We're super excited. We are right across from the Ford Motor Company booth. We're in a smaller section, but right across there. So we should be getting a lot of good traffic from our dealers. And we just want people to, stop in and see us. We're highlighting several vendors as well. So they each have allocated times throughout the days that we're there, so that the dealers can meet them. And we're looking forward to as many of our dealers that we can talk to and inform them about the shop as we can. And then we're bringing on several new vendors by the end of the year, even in 25. And then got a great pipeline for Q1 in 26. So a lot of exciting stuff coming.
That is very exciting. I'm excited for you guys. NADA is, of course, big. It's the best place to go when you want to hit an automotive event that's going to contain the largest number of dealers in one place at one time during a calendar year. So,
and do you remember that used to be the way we found out about all the vendors. We didn't have Google and we didn't have the shop. So, we see ourselves as this is a great kickoff for 26 to be at NADA. And then hopefully the awareness is there and the dealers know to come to us.
Yep. I love it. I love that you're also making content like this that people will see, and it gives them probably a little bit of a reason to say, oh, there's somebody I want to now go by and see. When you're not making content like this, people don't maybe know. You're just hoping that some of your other messaging, they might see it if they're going. In this case,
absolutely.
Giving them a lot of reasons to stop by and say hello, maybe get a little deeper dive with some of the vendors that are going to be there, that are going to share some time in this space. So that's fantastic.
Yep.
Always a good time at NADA. So
yes.
I'm excited for you guys. Well, so what's the best next step for the dealer who's curious, but maybe hasn't even logged into the shop yet?
Well, that's really important. All the dealers, if they have their Ford CDS ID, please go on to theshop.com, and there's a little icon at the top right where you can log in using your Ford credentials, Lincoln credentials, and it will bring you right into the shop, and you can do all the exploration just by that sign in.
Mm-hmm. Easy.
Pretty easy. Yeah, no problem.
There used to be the easy button commercials. Sounds like you just described an easy button.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very easy.
Well, this is how I want to land the plane, as they say, or find a parking spot for this conversation. That would be if the wonderful folks listening and or watching remember one thing, what is that?
The one thing I would say is go on to theshop.com. It's a trusted spot, dealer first efforts all the way around. It's connecting great vendors with great dealers. That's how I would summarize it.
Mm-hmm. This is a massive value to dealers. I get to be this person that gets to host all of these conversations. This has been fantastic. Lots of great insights, Michelle.
Thank you.
And to me, and I've been in the industry just like you for a long time, longer than I want to admit, but I have.
Yeah,
And
I get that.
the amount, yeah, right. It's hard to calculate really the value because there are so many different areas that to a dealership, they matter. We talked about them, time savings and cost savings, convenience, having somebody that you can trust that will help you with vetting. Also having a place where you in one stop, in one place, you'll have a collection of things that you can browse and figure out, hey, where do I find the solutions to these problems that we're having? So it also brings in this whole layer for the folks that are out in the field that maybe they have a lot of the answers, but maybe there's, now they have a backstop as well. Hey, it's probably in the shop. Let's go there together. It just creates so much additional value. And you said it, dealer first mentality. That's the thought process here. And if not, the dealers know that. So, and you guys knew that from the beginning. So this has been fantastic. I really appreciate the time. And to the audience, well, that's the wrap on this episode of In the Shop. And a ginormous thank you to you, Michelle, for sharing your story, your insights, a little behind the scenes look at what's happening in the shop, how it's helping dealers do just what we've been talking about, saving you time and reducing costs and getting connected to the right partners without all the hassle and all the time that you can waste. If you are a Ford or a Lincoln dealer and you're ready to simplify your vendor search, well, this is your next step. Head to theshop.com. That's a pretty easy URL. Sign in with your CDS ID and take a look around. The resources are there. More are being added on a regular basis. The pricing is negotiated. The vendors are vetted. And Michelle, Dealer Success Manager, is here to help you every step of the way. So you have resources galore. Thanks again for listening. We appreciate your time and never want to waste it. Be sure to follow or subscribe if you're consuming this content on YouTube. Come on, hit that like button and the subscribe. So then when we push more content out, you'll see what we're doing with each and every vendor that come into the shop. And every time we have conversations just like this one that help bring benefits to you. Until next time, run that dealership smart, sell smart, and we'll see you again really soon in the shop.
Thank you.